Alright, so I finally got Burma set up. Well, I've had it vaguely set up for a while. I've been agonizing for the last few hours, actually, about what to do with this thing. Alright, I played a couple of the introductory scenarios to try to get a feel for the system, the game, whatever. And I've got the conclusion that this is going to be an absolute nightmare. The supply situation, especially. It's just gonna. It's so fragmented. I'm assuming the other OCS games, or OCD games, or whatever you want to call them, have a slightly easier means of channeling supply. I know that most North Africa games have kind of a nice, even road that you run all your supply down. Well, it ain't like that here, and that's because of the terrain. So we got some clear terrain. That's that kind of white stuff. There's almost none on the board. The pale green, that's jungle. Foot troops can go through it. And everything else gets worse. The dark green is rough, worse jungle. All the tan and brown is mountains, even worse jungle. Oh boy. So the situation as it stands, the Japanese are poised for an attack on Imphal, and we have a few divisions assigned to that. Down here I believe is the 33rd, we have the 31st sitting up there, and the 15th kind of spread in this weird middle ground. They can't take it, I mean not by force. But what they can do is they can slip around on little trails and haul their supplies on elephants, which are an advantage for them because nobody can use them but the Japanese, and mules or donkeys. They also have water buffalo, which they can't use to haul supplies with, but they can slaughter and eat. So they turn some of their supplies into water buffalo, which is why there's a huge stack here. That's just... I'm trying to get some supplies up to the front. The big problem with the supplies, for the Japanese at least, is that they can supply food off the river lines. And they can actually forage for food as long as they're near trails. Not that that's necessarily wise. I tried that in one of the small scenarios, and it's an iffy proposition at best. But in order to actually get bullets, the stuff for combat, they have to pull it from the rail line. And the rail line runs the wrong way. Worse than that, let me see if we can get an actual view of it. It's this red thing. And this is the only rail line going up. Worse than that, whatever they're going to try to do, pulling ammo and supplies off the rail line, the Chindits are here to, and they've got a couple of clearings. They haven't landed yet. They're going to be trying to interdict that rail line and any supplies that are running there. So the Japanese are going to have to expend some effort to try to defend their supply lines. OCS standard rules has an optional rule for coping with people doing this in games. Well, this game's all about it. It's about slipping troops. The Japanese trying to slip troops through the mountains and cut your supply, and the Chindits trying to slip around and destroy Japanese supply. So Godzilla is not in effect here, and the optional rule that allows Godzilla to not have an effect in games with the Japanese is in play. Other part of this situation, U.S. is up here, and they're, well, actually these are mainly Chinese, but there are some U.S. troops, the darker ones. They're trying to bust their way through, and depending on how well the Chindits do in interdicting the supplies, they may well do well there. So the Japanese goal is Imphal or Dimapur. If they can capture a hex of either of them, game's over, they win. Allied goal is if they can take both hexes of Mandalay in supply, they win. Or if they can complete the Lado Road, which right now is right here. And it's got to make it down. See, took a wrong turn there. It's got to make it down to here. Now that's not in Allied territory, so that's going to be kind of tricky. They have to fight their way through. So they can win either of those two ways. Interesting little thing, there's some armor in the game, even some Japanese armor. Unfortunately, armor doesn't work anywhere except in the clear, at least not effectively. So I'm going to try to scrape together some fuel to get that to help defend Mandalay, because I can't expend the supplies to run armor into the mountains. The Allies can do that. The Allies have overwhelming air superiority. Here's the Chindits, by the way. And I can't make any promises that I'm going to finish this thing. I can't make any promises I'm going to play it very long. I have the suspicion it's going to be one huge headache. The rules, the standard rules are good. The scenario rules are missing a few things. There's a table that's missing. I'm sure it's in the errata online. Unfortunately, I can't get online right now. So I'm making it up. But all right, we'll see what happens.